When you become a new homeschooler, you soon realize there's more stuff than I thought. It's more than just curriculum. You've got science supplies, you've got language arts supplies and manipulatives, math manipulatives, not to mention the general school supply stash. If there are no specific homes for these things, there's always a mess. You do put it away, but doesn't it feel like sometimes you can never find it when you need it? And since you can't find it, sometimes it leads to rebuying it, only to find it again later. And then you've just got more stuff. So today I'm going to show you how I organize my supplies so that they are easy to find, easy to put away, minimizing the rebuying and minimizing the chaos. So not only am I going to show you today how I organize my supplies, but I'm also going to share with you all of the little organizational containers and where I got them. And you're going to get a ton of supply ideas for things that you might want to add to your homeschool. Hey guys, my name is Rachel and this is my 7th year homeschooling. I have an 8-year-old all the way up to high schooler. Now I have done an organizational video last year, if you've checked it out already. Some of this stuff might look familiar, but I actually did a major overhaul of this room in the spring. Hopefully, I will have a video with the process that I went through for that, because my goal was really to minimize, to pare down even more. Like I wanted to keep even less stuff up here, and I wanted it to be even more functional than it already was. So every year I am always looking to improve. I'm always looking to save time and money, get rid of stuff that I don't need, and just give it a home, because the ultimate goal is that I don't have to be the only one to put it away. So I have to make things super easy to put away for them. And so let's just show you what I did. So this is like what I like to call my hutch. Now I did another video about how I organized my curriculum. Make sure you check that out, because there is current curriculum, there's curriculum that maybe isn't this semester, but next semester, what do I do with that? And then what do I do with the curriculum that I don't want to get rid of, but I'm not using it all this year? So make sure you check that video out. But for the supplies, this cabinet, first of all, is from IKEA. I got it because it matches these cabinets. It's like the same, I don't know, what do you call it? Cabinet family. I liked the open storage, and I also, or the open like window, but I also liked the look of these boxes. They do still sell these boxes. They do not, I don't know if they sell the magazine holders anymore, but they sell these things in various sizes. So I have kind of collected them through the years, depending on what my needs are and what could fit in here. But this is like my little cube for all my planner stuff. Down here, this is also Mom's, so tucked away. My first and last day of school sign, nice here on its side, and some extra paper. So color paper, this is just like there's some printed paper here if we have a craft. This is like colored cardstock. This is like printer paper. So, and then I have extra notebook paper. I do a lot of binders where I create binders for different subjects for my kids, and then I will definitely throw notebook paper in there. You guys, some of this paper is literally from when I was in school. I feel like the Bible story of the woman with the oil, where no matter how much she used, there was just more oil left. That's how I feel with notebook paper, spiral notebooks, pencils. It's like they just never run out. A couple of composition notebooks just in case we need them, because the others are stored elsewhere. And then this is, let's see, planner history. That's Mom thing. That's like old planner stuff. And then you can close the door, and because I have some of these in nice boxes, I did go ahead and label this year. So if you did watch my video last year, I did not have these things labeled, because I do kind of know whose is whose here, and I thought that I had a general idea of where everything was here. But this year I decided I need labels because, again, daughters, if I want them to help put it away. This was like a masking tape roll of chalkboard. I don't know where I got it. It's 3M Scotch brand, so probably an office store, or who knows, Walmart probably has it. But then I just cut it to the size that I needed. And I do not recommend using real chalk because, as you can see up here, like it smeared. And every time we touched it, really, it smeared. So I did end up getting a chalk marker, which works much, much better. But since I hardly ever get into these boxes, I just haven't switched that out yet. All right, some of this I went over in my curriculum video, so I'm not going to talk about that. So this, I got this container at Michael's. If you saw my homeschool supply day in the life video, you know that. And I was reusing some old labels that I had. Rainbow, not particularly my favorite, but I did have it. This year, this is what I use them for, and I gotta say, this has been super duper handy. My daughter she's using the Good and the Beautiful Level 1 for language arts, and hers came with these flashcards for her to be using. So I've put them all in here, so whenever her lesson calls for using flashcards, I say, go get your little flashcard thing. And actually, it's about every other day, so I actually don't even put it away. I just it kind of sits up there just like that because it is used so frequently. My son's level 6, the Good and the Beautiful, came with world geography cards, came with US states and capital cards, European cards, and then it came with grammar rules. So that's for level 6. I'm not sure if that would start in level 5. So I don't need these right now because none of my kids are in that level. And then I used my extra one for these US history vocabulary words. This little tool right here from Michael's has been super handy for some of these sorts of supplements. Also have very, very few art supplies up here. Honestly, I can't remember where I got this bin because I actually think that I got it at a thrift store. So this is just little watercolor paints. These are like just the really gentle washable paint that isn't going to stain clothes. So I have this up here because, again, my daughter's Good and the Beautiful Level 1 actually calls for some of this paint every once in a while. So just having it in this little confined space here has been super helpful because I moved the art supplies someplace else. My daughter's, actually, I didn't move all of them because they need some of them, but a lot of the paint and stuff I moved to a completely different place because they were getting in them too much. Comment below if you have kids who want to get out the paints on a daily basis. You feel me on this one, moms? Okay, and then in this drawer, this just has a bunch of my Happy Planner stuff that I got when it was all on clearance. And then because I do YouTube, I needed a little box to hold some of my little extra YouTube-y stuff like my mic, and this is something that I use for YouTube. And then I have my do-a-dot markers back here. I should make these more accessible for my daughters. Maybe that's better. Then they can use the do-a-dot markers. You guys, I have so much science stuff because my daughters love science. And if I don't buy them these kits, then they're gonna use all of my kitchen stuff, no joke. One time I was going to make sugar cookies and I wanted to dye the icing and I had no food coloring because my middle child had used all the food coloring for some experiment of hers. So I do buy them these kits now, so when they get that itch to do some sort of sciencey thing, they've got access to this. But this is not part of our formal science curriculum, which is why it's kind of over here behind a door. So there's some leftover overflow of the science kits here, and then down here is where I just kind of stored all these things. And we have a Tinker Crate subscription for now, and then I got a lot of these things like whenever they're on clearance, or I see them like at TJ Maxx because they're usually cheaper at TJ Maxx, or they might be on clearance every once in a while at Office Depot. This is just like the little busy bin place for them. If they're bored, no screens, go do a science kit. So this is like my teacher toolbox. You might have seen other videos online, especially of like school teachers, like public school, private school teachers with their box that they get from a hardware store and then they make it all cute. If I didn't have this really cool antique one, I probably would go get one of those, but this thing is way cool. Flea market. I suppose you could check a flea market if you really like this look. So I added these little labels. What are these things called? They're called key tags. So you can get these kind of like in the mail section, M-A-I-L, of any office store. I know Walmart probably has them. So in here I just have like string. Yes, string. What do you need string for, Rachel? Well, that's how I made this timeline here. The string issue comes up every now and then, so I know where my string is, and I have highlighters and then these gel highlighters here. Extra crayons. Okay, so this one says flashcards, binder clips, tabs, hole punch. I don't think my hole punch is in here. But this is like stuff that I need when I'm doing my binders and I need to tab something to give it a new, easy way to find it. So that's where these sorts of tabs are. I love these things and we use them a lot. All my little Post-it notes. These are what I call flashcards. So anytime I have a scrap piece of paper that isn't going to be used or is going to be tossed, or like a piece of poster board or something, if I can repurpose it with my paper cutter, see my supply video, you know how much I love that paper cutter. I always make like pre-made flashcards because you never know when the curriculum wants you to make spelling word flashcards or just whatever you need a flashcard for. I actually make them a lot. So that sort of stuff is in here. I can't resist when I find these little mini clips because they're so cute, and sometimes I just don't know how many clips I need up here. So this one's just a little wood one, this one's a little glitter one. So that was the little timeline that I had in my dining room, but I also have used a timeline on my fireplace. So depending on what you need to display and how much display space you need, that's where the string comes in and the little mini clips. See, like right here in my hallway, if I needed to display more, another place where I could totally throw up a command strip hook with some string and clips. And then I always have a stash of these like extra large clips. These are great for bookmarks. And then the binder clips. Just depends what mood you're in for marking your place. So that's just where all those are housed. Let's see if it's labeled right. Yay! Note cards. So speeches, they're getting a little disheveled here. And actually this size was another one. This is cardstock. I cut it to this size on purpose, and this is what my daughters are using to create their little timeline events for our homemade history curriculum. Check out this video about how to create your own history curriculum. But this is where my tape is, painter's tape, masking tape, and glue. Clothespins, these little tags in these binder rings is what I call them. Erasers, scissors. And then all of my dry erase stuff. See, I used to keep that spinner thing, which I'll show you here in a minute. I used to keep that in the center of this table until my dog just can't help herself climbing up here on the table. So now we just have a few pens and pencils, coasters, and a candle, and a pair of scissors there, and my dog has stayed away from it so far. Okay, and then down here below is, I'm not gonna go over this, but this is how I'm organizing like things I need to grade or things I need to put in the portfolios. Anything that's big and poster board like that I want to keep up here kind of gets tucked back there, which is really handy. So over here, this is where I'm keeping all the science stuff for science experiments. So these are right here, science kit in progress. So these are the kits that my daughters are currently having fun with. They're already opened, they're in use. So that's why the kits that were not being used are back there in that cabinet right there. This one is general supplies, which basically means they're probably supplies that I bought for the Good and the Beautiful, like really generic supplies. Like a plate, because sometimes you just need a plate to help things not get messy. Storage bags, little cups for mixing, little bowls for mixing. So really, really generic stuff. And then the seashells that were with my marine biology unit. I'm not really sure what to do with the seashells, so right now they're in there. Maybe they will become an art supply soon. And then this is my high schoolers' science stuff. So if you are interested in Shoreman Science, the kit that it came with, I should have done an unboxing with the kit, but this was pretty cool how it came packaged. So I went ahead and ordered it. It was quite pricey. I didn't really look through the whole list to see that it was going to actually send me a ruler. So I think next year I'll definitely look more through what I'm actually paying for, but I thought this is just going to be more convenient to have all this stuff sent to me, because there was, you know, stuff like this. This is like, actually we had to buy this. This is like a Bunsen burner fuel tank thing. But stuff like this, I really wouldn't know where to get this, and he's used these quite a bit. These are like glass stirrers and stuff. And then of course these sorts of chemistry and physics. And where are you going to buy calcium chloride? So that's why I bought the kit, and it's kind of nice that it tells you bag 5 where it's at, so when he goes to do his experiment, it's easy for him to find. And I just kind of packed it all in here. It was organized at first, but now my son has to manage this. So, and then the science stuff that doesn't really fit into these boxes, maybe it's tall, like this thing, or this thing is too big for the box. Very, very handy that my cabinet has this extra little space here on the side so it can be tucked away. Up here with my teacher's manuals, I keep extra clipboards, dry erase pockets that we may use, but kind of like the tall supplies that we use frequently would go up here. Okay, and then in these dining room cabinets, I mentioned in multiple videos before that I bought these cabinets because they have to double as like my serving dishes cabinet, but it also has to hold homeschool stuff behind closed doors. So I reorganized this one. So this is like the basket of language arts manipulatives, this came with all about spelling, but I'm sure that I will use it for the good and the beautiful. It's just like little magnetic tiles for learning how to spell words with the phonogram sounds. This little container right here to organize this came from the Dollar Tree, so it was $1. Super handy for these tiles. And then there's just all kinds of letters and games and stuff in here as we're practicing our phonograms or our storytelling. I gave my daughters this basket, so this is all their junk. This is where I keep some general supplies that we actually, again, use pretty frequently. The 3-hole punch, stapler stuff. This little bin is from the Dollar Tree. This is my disc punch for Happy Planner stuff. And then this is just like little beads for rewards. I've considered how I was going to use that, and then I do have some little rewards charts here that I have found. My geography puzzles, I've showed these to you before. I got these at a garage sale. Super cool. Silverware, because dining room cabinet. This is clay, which is cool for spelling, like shaping words, or just art in general, just molding. This is a really cool game. If I can find it, I'll link it below. But it helps you with the parts of speech, so you have to roll a sentence, or is that what you call it? Spin a sentence, noun, any card, verb. So you're spinning your sentence, and then at the very end, whoever has theirs, you have a very silly sentence. And it's kind of like Mad Libs, right? Very silly sentence like a Mad Lib. Spelling task cards. This is from the Spelling Power curriculum, but it's all sorts of fun drilling activities and writing prompts and dictionary skills and stuff. Super cool. Stickers that I get from the thrift store. Again, if you saw my supply haul video, that's where I get all my stickers from. This is my holiday stuff that I have to go through. And then I moved this tray to this cabinet. So I forgot to mention this tray over here, this tray. These are both from IKEA. I like them a lot because they slide out, so you can access what's in there more easily. I put my dry erase pockets here on top. I think I've mentioned these in my supply video. Love those. And then I have like my page protectors here, my binder dividers, my favorite ones. Mention those in my supplies video. I have magazines here for if we want to cut out letters. Really cool idea here, as they're learning adjectives, have them cut out a picture of an object and then find adjectives in the magazines to describe that object. You could also, as they're practicing their spelling words, they could cut out letters and like use magazine letters to write their spelling words. This is scratch paper, so on one side has something, if they just want to draw a picture or make a list or something, this is where they can get that paper. And the same thing for here. And then on the side is this paper. I don't want my daughters to always, I guess, remember that it's here, or else they would, let's just be honest, they would waste my tracing paper. And then I've got extra folders over here. Okay, and then from the language arts cabinet to this is the math manipulatives cabinet. All things math related or STEM related is in here. These are pretty much in use. I didn't want to forget that they're in here. These are mentioned in my supplies video. I highly recommend these flashcards. But I actually, right now, they are in my living room next to the chair that I always use because my daughter is using these right now. And we also use these a lot for math. Buttons are from Dollar Tree, containers from Dollar Tree. These are like our little counters. So like when I'm describing multiplication and division for her and I need something to help illustrate that, I use these buttons all the time. Flashcards, again, Dollar Tree. These containers are from IKEA, and this has like dice and money, all kinds of dice, like even six-sided dice, whatever kind of dice you need. So like if you ever really want to work on multiplication here and you've got a 50 and a 10, dry erase dice, so you can put whatever you want on it. If you're reviewing for like CC, maybe you put timeline, history, science, language, whatever, and you roll a category to practice your memory work or something. These are from Dollar Tree. A weighing scale. Every math curriculum is going to have a weighing scale. Okay, now this container, I want to say this is either from Michael's or a Walmart. I'm sure you can find this anywhere. But it is so handy to, again, take like use of the vertical space here. But it houses like all these math manipulatives that I need. So really cool because they snap together. So if you want to get it off, you just unsnap it and then stack them back up again. Snap that back on, and then it's attached again. But things like this, they're like fraction. This is like a hamburger, 1/2. Trying to teach your kids that 2/4 is the same as a half. These things, I got this at that thrift store that I showed you in my supplies haul video. These sorts of math manipulatives. I've talked about this one before and linked it somewhere. I'll link as much of this stuff below as I can remember. These manipulatives have come in so handy for borrowing. So like, you know, 3-digit, adding and subtracting and borrowing. Yes, this container did come with this little divider. So it's like a stackable 3 thing. I don't know what you call it. But it came with these little dividers, and it was so handy for dividing out the hundreds, the ones, the tens, the thousands, and yada, yada, yada. So this bin is from Target, I believe. I don't know if they still sell them. I would think that they do. It's pretty common. But this is where I put like my little STEM brain games, my Sudoku books, little games like this that's really good for strategic thinking. 99 puzzle book from Usborne. They go here. My dry erase boards, which I use frequently for explaining concepts, and then geo boards. And then I have a bunch of flashcards and like these multiplication wraps that my little one will be using soon. And any sort of like little math game can go in there. The same thing here, a little math game and cards and just little games we can play to practice. These little manipulatives, these trays for my Cuisinart rods. So Cuisinart rods are fun. They didn't want me to get rid of them, even though this was like kind of an alpha, I guess it says K through 4. But anyway, these little trays are from Dollar Tree. So My pattern blocks are in the box. My Unifex blocks are here. Dollar Tree, Dollar Tree, Dollar Tree. I feel like honestly most everything in this cabinet is Dollar Tree. This one also, I mean, these are like geometric shapes, but I'm certain I got these at a thrift store. This is a little clock my brother had when he was little, but it's so cool. Does anybody else have this clock? So it says it's 8:30, see? So you can turn it around, or actually this thing goes 5 minutes by 5 minutes. And then your kid can guess, what time is it? 9:15. Let's see if you're right. Yep, 9:15. This is such a classic. I won't let my mom get rid of it. These are like Matthew C. blocks. I got these at a garage sale or a homeschool used sale or something. So I do use these frequently. This container, Dollar Tree. This container, actually, I got all these dominoes at a garage sale and they sold it. I got all of these, kid you not, for $3. And it came with this. I mean, that's a steal. Pattern blocks, stem, and then these little blocks for stem creation. I had to get a new pencil sharpener. If you saw my supplies video, I raved about this other pencil sharpener that did not require a cord. Still love it, but my son stole it and took it to his bedroom. So I let him have it and I just got this one. So I still love this spinner because it does help keep everything organized with the pencils, the markers, the rulers, and so on and so forth. I wish my dog wasn't such a stinker to always want to grab stuff out of it and chew on it. So I've got a lot of highlighters this year because, you know, friction highlighters. If you saw my supply video, these things are awesome. But this is kind of like the supplies that we use every day. Rubber bands, some clothespin there, extra erasers. That's for like if we're going somewhere, say we're going on a road trip and they want to grab pencils, we need to take a portable pencil sharpener with us. So we will grab that. Got some paper clips there if needed, and some push pins. And you always need a barrette and a bounce ball, right? Okay, but I have extra supplies here. So this cabinet is still a work in progress, but I do feel like it's made some progress this year also. It's just a little stuffed right now because I'm not sure how else to do this. But these are so handy, I'm telling you, when we are going on trips or road trips or, you know, whenever we're going on vacation, I just grabbed these. They're already together. We grabbed either some Pilot G2 pens, depending on what kinds of coloring books my daughters got. If they wanted the extra colored pens, there's some. If they wanted some markers, here were some like skinny markers here. Scented markers, so that's all labeled so we know what's in here, which is super handy. This pens box gets brought out anytime we have guests over. Like when we entertain, we like to play games, especially the game Things or the name game, which is kind of like a created game. But this comes out anytime you're playing like board games with friends and you need a bunch of pens, you just grab that. Colored pencils, my daughters are into the colored pencils right now, so this comes out quite a bit. Scented gel pens, these are scented gel or scented markers. These are crayons, Crayola markers. So these are like Sharpies and metallic pens and glitter markers, so these are super special. And then some gel pens back there, and these are just like little notebooks. This little basket that's holding them is from Dollar Tree. So this is like, we'll get this one out like at Christmas time. So anytime we need Sharpies for anything, they're in here. But at Christmas time, like when we're making cards or something, then you want the metallic-y markers, which is kind of cool, or these like green glitter. So those special ones are in here. So these containers from IKEA are super handy for organizing all the pens. And even though this is pretty stuffed in here, it's also pretty easy to keep organized, if I do say so myself. So that's like the extra grab-and-go stuff. And then this, I gave this drawer to my daughters to put their craft stuff in. This is a craft that they're doing right now, like you can color the characters with a special marker. Actually, this goes in here. And then you can wipe them off and redo them again later. And then they've got like scrapbook type stuff down there. So this is like their little drawer to mess with. And then all the coloring books for traveling if we need to pack that sort of stuff. I just don't know the best way to organize these. They just end up getting thrown in there and there just ends up being a ton. And my daughter, oh shoot, just dropped this. My daughter does play with these fashion plates quite a bit. I guess I'm gonna make her clean. Yep, so just stuff that you need but for traveling or just busy stuff that they want to entertain themselves with. That was a lot of stuff. And that's just what's up here in my room. So this is the stuff that I actually do use frequently. All right, now let's take a trip over here because this is the art supplies that I wanted to show you. So right now my morning cart is in here because I think our art supplies are gonna be, or our art projects are gonna be done in the kitchen. And so I have all of the art supplies needed for our the Good and the Beautiful unit. So we're doing a lot of pastels right now. I have these things, like I don't know why Menards gave us this. It had no lid. So I thought, well, we're gonna use this then to hold water when we're painting. My daughter has already ruined this drinking glass with paint, art tape, and then this is how also water cup, because oh my goodness, seriously, paint does not, acrylic paint anyway, does not come out of drinking glasses. It's not really safe. So there's some watercolor paper here, a sketchbook, and then this little basket holds some watercolors, some extra, those are like the art erasers, the brush calligraphy markers, and some extra chalk pastels in there. And then back here are the oil pastels. So this is where we are holding our art supplies for this year on this cart. The morning cart that for now I've decided is going to stay in here for now because I can't decide if I like this or not. So I feel like there's a million different ways that you could organize, but there's only one way that really works for you, right? Because everybody thinks differently and everybody organizes differently. If you are curious how to organize your homeschool curriculum, check out this video. And if you want to see even more organizational videos, check out this playlist. Until next time, bye.